but still, Fnatic, this defense is so daunting this entire half.
Triple, and he mows down every single member.
Misses the second shot somehow. That looked dead on.
He can close this game and win the tournament right now.
Sixth straight tournament for this Fnatic team. You have to consider this perhaps the best CSGO team, if not the best CS team in franchise history.
Fnatic have some of the most successful esports teams competing in CSGO and League of Legends. Fnatic's Counter-Strike team, located in Sweden, is praised as being one of the best CSGO teams of all times, winning countless majors and other tournaments. So they're more than qualified to know what goes into making good peripherals like mice, mouse pads and keyboards. But what I love about the lineup from Fnatic Gear is their no-frills approach. Hi guys, I'm Mark from Silence Tech, and today we're going to check out some peripherals from Fnatic Gear. But first up, the Flick G1 optical mouse. Fnatic Gear has removed everything that is not needed and just left 5 buttons and the scroll wheel. The Flick is a right-handed symmetrical mouse with strong grooves on both sides, allowing for great liftoff. The dimensions are 12.6cm in length, 6.8cm in width and 4cm in height. My hands are 18cm and I have no trouble gripping the Flick G1. Taking a closer look at the mouse, its left and right clicks feature Omron switches and have a perfect travel distance. The forward and back buttons are also well placed and give off a nice tactile bump once activated. The scroll wheel has great tactical feedback with extremely noticeable scroll steps, probably one of the best non-mechanical scroll wheels I've ever personally used. The DPI adjustment button also feels solid, but is slightly further back than what I'm used to. Taking a look underneath the mouse, we get to see the AD-NS2120 lens, which is covering the Pixart AD-NS3310 optical sensor. The 3310 sensor was a great choice from Fnatic Gear, with a max DPI of 5000. Surely that's enough for any gamer. In the center and the corners of the mouse, we get Teflon pads, which give off perfect glide and zero snagging. The Flick G1 comes with a 2-meter braided cable that's quite stiff, at least on first inspection. I'm quite sure it would loosen up over time, although right now I am experiencing a fair bit of drag from it. A mouse bungee is highly recommended. Overall, the finish of the mouse is rubber coated, but unlike a lot of rubber coated mice, it's extremely resilient to scratches and marks. I love the finish of it, and it makes the mouse feel a lot more premium and comfortable in my hand. Turning the mouse on, it's so refreshing to see lighting used on a mouse for a good reason, relaying information to the player. Simply 3 LEDs let you know your current DPI, and the scroll wheel is also backlit, which can be changed to any colour in the included software. Taking a quick look at the software, here you can change things like your DPI, your sensitivity, your scroll speed, and of course your double click speed. But strangely, there's no settings for adjusting your liftoff distance, which is the main reason why I personally wouldn't recommend this mouse, believe it or not, for gaming, as the liftoff distance is just too high, and I can see the mouse registering movements at over a centimetre in height. Onto the gaming performance, the mouse feels super responsive with its 1000Hz polling rate. It only weighs at 90 grams, so the mouse feels fairly light. I had some trouble throwing my current mouse of choice down and picking this up, but I still managed to rack up the kills in my favourite FPS shooter, although the mouse lift-off distance was just too high and I had to learn pretty quickly to pick the mouse up more than I normally would. But check out the end of the video as I will have some gameplay of me using the Flick G1. Okay, so that's the Flick G1 mouse all wrapped up. Next, it's time to move on to the keyboard, the Rush G1. Now my version has Cherry MX Blues, it's also available with Cherry MX Reds and Cherry MX Browns. I'm not going to go into too much detail guys about this keyboard as the video will just end up being too long. But if we quickly run through its main features, the Rush is a fully backlit keyboard, but unfortunately it's not RGB. It also comes with a detachable wrist rest, full N-key rollover and 2 additional USB ports. even media keys are present from F1 to F6. Here's a quick typing and button mashing test to hear how it sounds. Overall, it does feel quite sturdy and high quality. It's certainly not a looker, but it gets a job done with all the parts in the right places, and I would highly recommend it for gaming. If we move on now to the Fnatic Gear Boost Hard Mousepad, here I have the G1 Control Large. Dimensions: the G1 Control Large comes in at 34cm in length, 26cm in width, and 0.2cm only in height, and you can also pick up a small version or an extra large version. Its surface material is made from polycarbonate, which gives you a super slippery surface to run your mouse over. Underneath, it has a rubberized coating that provides just enough grip, although I can still move it across my desk fairly easily. Personally, I'm more into cloth mouse pads, as I feel like I've just put my mouse on an ice skating ring. That said, the tracking was excellent with the G1 control. I just wish underneath had a bit more grip, as it tends to just slip a bit too easily all over the place. Anyway guys, that about wraps up the review. Final thoughts: I personally expected a little bit better from an esports team. Each product gets the job done in its own right, it's just none of them particularly stood out to me. The final score for the Flick G1 is only going to be a 6 out of 10 with a silver. If they could have put a lift off option in the software, I would have probably have given it an 8, and I can't use this mouse till its full potential until that option is available, and it would have made the mouse a lot better. Next, onto the Rush keyboard, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Although it is extremely basic, it gets the job done, and I do think it's very sturdy and it will last you a very long time if you picked one up. But thanks so much for watching guys. I hope you've enjoyed the review. I will leave you with some Battlefield 1 gameplay using the Rush and the Flick on my own Myonix mousepad. See you guys, I've been Mark from Silence Tech. Goodbye.